Depression is pain. Depression is sufferation. Depression is loud in the mind of the endurer, but silent to the eyes and ears of thy neighbor. Depression has taken precedence in my life. Walk with me as I pass through the shadows of thy mind, captured by the oppressor they call depression. I met depression at 3 years old, walking around a nursery yard in deep thought, looking for my sister that I knew in my heart had been missing. But the question was where? Where has she gone? How could you leave without saying goodbye? And who's this new person that won't go away, that keeps holding conversation with me? There's like a party in my mind, and I can't stop it. Normally people would go home after the rave, but the rave never ends. I'm alone, in my mind, in my soul, in a room full of people. Would they understand? Can they hear me? No, as I'm trapped in my mind. Walk with me as I pass through the shadows of thy mind. I'm here to tell you my story. Somebody once says to me, "You're breathing, but you're not living." And I thought, how dare you? But in reality, it was true. Imagine the most consistent thing that never forgets to show up, no matter the occasion or the season. I find her, she, he, depression, heavy, negative, evasive, dark, so captivating, only thy mind would understand. I fear the presence of others, while feeling anger as I want to be outside, but my mind won't let me be free. Please let me go, I ask while peering through the window. Depression is a leech. It never stops sucking the blood from you, little by little. It never truly goes away. You feel happiness, and in a second, it's taken away by a thought controlled in the mind. My good friend suffered with depression and passed away in 2018. God rest his soul. Changed me forever. I don't think I'll ever be the same. My friend had mental health issues, but as we're from a place, as your emotions are hidden, he would share, but cover majority with laughter. I'm just as bad. I'm laughing too, while mentally captured. He was telling me that he texted his friend and let him know he was going to take his life. And his friend replied with, "Can I have your PlayStation?" As I said before, I'm just as bad, because I started laughing as he told me that. As I said, we're not from a place where emotions are on show. I know his friend was just being humorous, but in that moment, I know my friend was dying inside, and that could have just been the last straw. His mental health led to his demise in the end. He was spiraling, crying out for help. Where was the help? My friend drowned 2018 after being chased by the police and jumping into the lake. He drowned. They left him there. When I got the news, we had fallen out. I felt so guilty. It took them 3 days to find him. I just felt like if I was there, I'd never let that happen, ever. If only I was there, I could never see him jump in the lake and not return and go home and sleep. I could never do that, and that plays on my mind till this day. His passing led to my demise. I started to spiral. I was vulnerable, as I felt I had been too hard in the past, so my friend didn't have space to be free and speak freely how he felt, instead of laughing about it. Me being vulnerable was the worst thing I could have chosen to be at that moment in time. I met somebody that preyed on my vulnerability, and that contributed greatly to my depression. I stopped taking care of myself as I mentally didn't care about myself anymore. Physically, mentally, I used to love myself, but somehow I've allowed depression to take precedence in my life. That man that loved to prey on my vulnerabilities, I once was my friend. I texted him and I told him I'm going to take my life, and he never replied. He said nothing. He didn't even call me. Nothing at all. I was in a really bad state. I wasn't bathing. I wasn't changing my clothes. I literally was going nowhere. Depression is loud in the mind of the endurer, but silent to the eyes and ears of thy neighbour. I planned my own funeral. I called a funeral home. I got prices. I picked my songs. I wrote my last words. I know what suicide is. I know how to live it, breathe it, feel it daily. Can't get it out of your mind. People say, you take your own life, God will send you. But I always say, you're not the endurer. I am. She is. He is. And if you can't feel what we can feel, the constant thoughts racing round in your mind, your heart pounding, the lack of sleep, you can't eat, just constant thoughts. It's draining, absolutely draining, consuming, it's eating at me. I need freedom, freedom of the mind, freedom of the soul. I need to be free. Walk with me as I pass through the shadows of thy mind. When depression comes knocking, there's no warning.